Hello guys, in this short video I will be showing a demo on Nmap command line tool with examples and different syntax format. So let's start without further ado. First of all, what is Nmap? Nmap, a short of network mapper, is a free and open source tool used for vulnerability checking, port scanning, and of course network mapping. It was created in 1997 and pretty famous since then. And since it's commercial or open source, either way you can use it. And Nmap has maintained its preeminence because of a large community of developers and coders who help to maintain and update it. The Nmap community reports that the tool, which anyone can get for free, is downloaded several thousand times a week. So because of the flexibility open source code base, it can be modified to work within most customized and heavily specialized environments. There are different distributions specific to the different platforms such as Windows, Mac, and Linux. But in most cases, it supports in the older operating system like it also supports like Solaris, AIX, Amigos, etc. And but in most cases, it is the same um, for the use. So then there is another available tool called Zenmap, or is called the ZEN map. So originally, when Nmap was deployed, it was used by advanced programming personals, or at least people who know around the console commands and non-graphical interfaces like CLI. So then it was later it was changed into Zenmap, which adds a graphical interface, which is probably easier for novice people to use rather than using the command line. So Zenmap was created to allow beginners to use the tool like Nmap. Zenmap is free also, and its source code is both open and available to anyone who want to use to modify. So there are some capabilities that are enabled by Zenmap. Frequently used scan can be saved as profile to make them easy to run repeatedly, just like automation or command creator allow interactive creation of Nmap command line. Scan results can be saved and viewed later. Saved scan results can be compared with another one. So this is kind of like some strong points of Zenmap, but of course Nmap is a CLI. So how Nmap works? The heart of Nmap is port scanning, and how it works is that it user designated a list of targets on a network that they want to learn information about. So user do not need to identify specific target, which is good because most admin do not have a complete picture of everything that is using the potentially thousands of ports and network. Instead, compile a range of ports or scan or a list of IP addresses. So it is also possible to scan all network ports, although that would potentially take a lot of time and eat up quite a bit of available bandwidth. Plus, depending on the type of passive defense that are in use on the network, such a massive port scan would likely trigger security alerts as well. So as much most people use Nmap is more limited deployments or divide different ports of their work up for scheduled scanning over time. In addition to setting up a range target to be scanned, user can also control the depth of each scan. For example, a light or limited scan might return information about which ports are open and which are closed and what kind of firewall is used, what is the operating system type. So in Nmap, controlling the scan used to require console command. So this is a kind of plus point for the Nmap on the ZenMap, which is kind of like user graphical tool. So what does Nmap do? When used properly, Nmap can be invaluable for both optimizing and protecting networks and information. All of the return data sent back by ports scanned using Nmap is collected and compiled by the programmer. Based on that information, there are several key activities that most people use the tool to help accomplish. For example, like network mapping. This is the core reason why Nmap was created and remains one of the top uses. Called host discovery is another feature. Nmap will identify the types of devices actively using scan port. This includes servers, routers, switches, and other devices. User can also see how these devices are connected and how they link together to form a network map. Then another usage of Nmap is port rules discovery. Nmap can easily tell, even with a low-level scan, if a port is open or closed by something like a firewall. In fact, many IT professionals use Nmap to check their work when programming firewalls. They can use if their policies are having the desired effect and if their firewalls are working properly. And then it also shadow IT hunting. Nmap discovers the type and location of devices on a network. It can be used to identify things that should not be there at all. These devices are called shadow IT because their presence on network is not officially authorized and it can easily be detected with the Nmap. So another feature is operating system detection. You can use command to find out what kind of operating system is running. I'll go through this in the demo. Service discovery, the ability to discover services elevate Nmap above the level of common mapping tool. Instead of simply discovering that a device exists, user can trigger a deeper scan in order to find out what roles discovered devices are performed. This in so the very first command I like to show you is port scanning. So you can scan ports with the range or just one. I mean, there's no need to scan one, but you can give are open here. You can see 21, 22, 25, 20, and 80 are open port. Then there is another one. You can use nmap hyphen o hyphen p 1 to 100. This command, you can use top 10 ports to be scanned. You can give any number. It's 100, 200, 1000, whatever the numbers you like to give. It will scan those top ports basically. And in this example, you can see these 10 top ports, and those are 21, 22 up to these are the either they are open or closed on local system or on the target. And then there is another command, which is a very basic one for the IP address, is IP address. For example, I can say local host, Nmap local host, and it will run on the local host and scan those the ports, whatever, the open and closed. This command you can use for the ping scan on a system. Since I do not have a system which is open, but you can ping whatever the target you have with this command. And then there is scanning IP address range. So nmap.p, and then the target you can give like 8.8.8 dot 0 and CIDR 28. So this command will scan the IP range uh, uh, with the given option. So then there is another command I just like to show you, name A, to see what is basically to see what kind of out of operating system type and version on the system. And so then I'll show you one command which you can use on a set of IP address, and the domain names are domain names which are saved in a text file. For example, I have a text file with this information, and I like to scan all these targets which are included in this text file. Then I can use a command nmap -il, and then this test.txt, and I can use this command to scan all those IP addresses and the domain name from this text file. This is kind of very helpful command. I use this one on my job, and that's really a big help. Then there is another command you can use, nmap -p, and this is port basically, and n, and then the IP address. It's 8888888. So this command will disable the name resolution. Basically, it will disable the port, which is port 80. So if you have a lot of scan to perform, you will need to speed up your scan. To speed your scan up, you will have to disable the reverse DNS. And for that purpose, you can use this command -n with the IP address. So then the other next command I like to show you is saving the output results or output into a separate file. For that, you can use O N and then output .txt, and then the target. And is very helpful when you need to analyze the output of the command on the target. So you can use this one. So the next one I like to show you is you can easily execute the detecting service or enumerate the system by using the this command which I'm going to show you, and this is nmap -sv, and local host or the IP address you like to use. Basically, this command takes pretty long time, and so I have to cancel this one, but you can use this one. Then the next command you can use to perform operating system fingerprinting using fast execution or aggressive scan, and that command is nmap AT4, and then the IP address of the target. So you can use this command to perform operating system fingerprinting with the aggressive scan, which is a -a. And then there is another important command is to perform IP protocol scan. So nmap -s and o, and so in a, so you can use this command to perform uh, the port scan, port enumeration, sorry, protocol scan are on the system. You can use the target rather than on your own system, but this is kind of a protocol. It gives, but if you use port scan, it just give the port and the port uh, mm, port ID and the status. So uh, in this command, you can have the protocol name and the status of those open protocol. So basically, you can relate this protocol to the ports. And then there is a next command I'd like to show is a port enumeration, similar to the one I just used is su. Let me use sudo. So this command will perform device and port enumeration. And here you can see it gives the ports which are open and the devices which are used on the local host. And then there's an important one is sudo nmap -sa. This command is used to enumerate the type of firewall in use. So it gives information on the firewall. So here you can see IP address scanned and report of this one. Host is up. And this command can be used and it gives the information on the firewall in use. So then there is another important one, which is one of the best thing in the Nmap, I think, to check open ports, which is normally we use. But then there is another utility of Nmap is to work with TCP and UDP without any problem. So several services are limited to just TCP, but people understand the advantage of scanning UDP based services. So here are some examples of both the services that are allowed by Nmap. So Nmap -st is for the TCP, and you can use the IP address here, and it shows only the TCP services which are open on the target. So similarly, we can use a command for the UDP. So for that, command syntax is nmap and this one. And so you can use this command for UDP services. So here it is the output of this command. So the next command is which is overlooked by the admin is nmap for CVE detection. CVE stands for common vulnerabilities and exposure, and so uh, even though I mean this is one of the important tasks need to be done by the admin, it can be done with the nmap command, and there is a predefined script present in the command in nmap that allows user to execute this process. One can use these predefined scripts are own their programming languages to drive a specific functionality that can help in common vulnerabilities and exposure detection. So there is one of the command I like to show you can be used is n sudo or nmap and pn, then hyphen script and vuln, and then the IP address. So you can use this command with hyphen pn and hyphen script and vuln and then the IP address. Just use something which is which doesn't exist. So this command can be used to detect the common vulnerability exposure on a system. Talk about is remote host malware infection detection using Nmap. Nmap commands in Kali Linux, Nmap commands in Termux, or even Nmap commands for vulnerability scanning are essential for system administrators, but detecting remote host malware is more critical. So you can simply use the Google malware checker by this command, and I think this is one of the important. With that, hyphen p80 and hyphen script, and script name is http hyphen google hyphen malware, and then there's the IP address or infected site.com or whatever the IP address, the target you have. You can use this command to detect remote host malware. So one of the important one. So the next thing I like to talk about is basic scanning techniques. So when we use so what are the options in the basic scanning techniques? The first one is Nmap and then the target. That is a very common one. Then we can use multiple target. So Nmap and then we can have target 1, target 2, and we can separate the targets with the comma. Then the third one is the list of targets, which I already explained earlier. And for that, you can use and then the file name. And whatever is included in the file name will be scanned. Then a range of host, you can use that one, and I mentioned that one earlier. Then you can use a scan an entire subnet with the CIDR. So in that case, you can nmap then 145, 34, 56, 0, and a CIDR like that. This is the range of the host. And then we also scan a random host, and random host is nmap hyphen IR, and then here is a number option, and we can set these target excluded from the previous given set of target. So we can use the similar command on text files as well. Then we can use another option which is called Nmap aggressive scan. Then we can use IPv6 target as well, which is kind of we can use in future. You can use nmap -6 and the IP address. So then discovery options I like to show is a ping scan only. We can use SP and the target. Then do not ping, for example, is another option I just like to show you, is a PN and the target. It do not ping this target. So TCP sync ping is PS and the IP address. Then TCP acknowledge ping is P, A, and the target. And then UDP ping, I already described. You can use this one. And uh, then SCTP is used as PY. Then ICMP echo ping is PE. And timestamp, ICMP timestamp is PP and the target. And then ICMP address masking ping is PM target. Then IP protocol is hyphen PO and the target. And then ARP ping is PR and the target. So this command is used for the ARP ping. Then we also have a trace route. So for that, nping trace route and the target. The firewall vision techniques. So we can use a couple of techniques to evade the firewall when we are doing enumeration on a system or the target. So the first one is fragment packets. For that, hyphen MF and the target. So the packet sent to this target will be fragmented and it may evade the firewall. Then specify a specific MTU. So that is transmission unit. MTU stands for maximum transmission unit, and you can specify the number, and that one is hyphen MTU, and here is a number or whatever, and then the target IP address. And then there is another command which can be used is to use a decoy is like RND and then a number and the IP address. And then there is a idle zombie scan that can be done with the SI and then give the zombie and then the IP address. Then append random data, that is another one can be used. Then there is important one is spoof MAC address. That is another technique that can be used, and the command syntax is spoof and MAC, and then this is MAC vendor slash vendor and then the target. So add sum and the target. So the next thing I like to mention is version detection using Nmap. So you can use hyphen O with the target to operating system detections, like localhost. So this one can be used to check the operating system, and here you can see it says like CPU, Linux kernel, and all the information, Linux 3.7. So this command can, and then there is also, you can use an earlier command which I showed is um, sudo hyphen o nmap hyphen o and os scan and scan and So this gives the similar result. It scans attempt to guess an unknown, and it gives all the information, as you can see, similar to the one. Um, then there is another one is sudo nmap -sv, and this is used for the service version detection. So let me use the local host, and it scan the service version of the target. Then there is a similar kind of command which can be used for troubleshooting version scan, and that is sudo nmap -sv version trace and target. And there's a typo. So that is a kind of very detailed scan that is for troubleshooting the version scan. So that is scanning the whole system. I just canceled it. The next one I like to show you is perform a RPC scan. For that, the command is map SR and the target. So um, the next function of Nmap I like to show you is to save the output file, which I briefly mentioned earlier. And for that, you can use different options such as Nmap, Nmap, and -on, and -on, and then the scan.txt file and the target. So then there is another option available that you can use is for the XML file. So you can save OX the output in the XML file with this option and XML file. So then there is another option is grabbable output. For that, you can use um, txt and this command. And then there is another option that is output all supported file types. For that, you can use this one and -o lowercase a uppercase and then the file name with the path and the target. Then there is also very helpful command to see uh, periodically display statistic is another the statistics will be displayed periodically from the target. Mm. Then of this tool I like to show you is comparison using NDIF. So this is a part of this scan, like we have two XML scan, and we like to compare that one, and we can use this command with the scan one.xml and scan 2.xml, and it basically it works exactly same like a differ command from the Linux. And then there is a verbose mode also. You can use NDEF with the verbose mode option, and then we can use another option to display the output in XML format. So for that, we can use this command. Then we have a scripting engine that we can use, uh, which I mm, briefly described earlier. For that, we can use this command script, and then the script name script.nser the target. So this command can be used for an individual script, and if we have a multiple script, then we can use expression for that after script and the target. And guys, this is all I have on this topic of Nmap, the network mapper tool, scanning tool. And just a recap what we covered in this tutorial is the basic command scanning techniques. And I demonstrate those commands one by one. Then the second part was discovery options and all the options which can be used in that discovery of the system. And the next portion was slightly I covered the firewall evasion techniques and the options which can be used. And then the next section I explained the version detection part of the Nmap and uh, the command syntax. And then the last one was how we can save the output, and what are the options for the output, such as text file or XML or output of all supported file types. And the last one was how we can use scripts. And then also I defined how to compare or differentiate the two outputs of the file in this demo. So this is all I have on this topic. If you have any question or comment, please go to the comment section below, and press the bell icon to receive the new notification and subscribe this channel. Thank you. Bye for now.